welcome, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, but most importantly, ladies, to the first episode of, or show, I guess, of season 2 of Radio Ryan, which we've been certified. We are a podcast.
That is correct.
Pretty great.
It's been approved, guys. We did it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, welcome to tonight's edition. We're live here on WCCS 96.5 FM, Wheaton College Radio, or live on WCCS.tk. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell that guy that has been texting you, and you're like, I don't want to stop texting this guy because it's rude, but I'm not interested at all.
Once you send him the link to this show, I promise you he will stop texting.
He'll get the message.
Yeah.
I am your host, Radio Ryan. And I've got a guest here, and I'm so excited that he's here. He's never been on the show before.
Ever.
He's a lot better than that last guy we had on for season 1. Give it up for Radio Tyler, everybody.
Thank you. Woo! Awesome.
Yeah. Also in-house as our in-studio technician, Radio Harrison.
Woo! Woo!
Woo! Yeah.
Wu-Tang.
And our resident analyst, Studio Will.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Woo! We got a name this season?
Analysis.
You guys got names.
Yeah, he didn't have a name last
Well, that's true. He was unnamed last season. I mean, he bears a striking resemblance to our unnamed cryptid expert from last season.
Who was that?
So we're here. It's me. I'm Radio Ryan, here with Radio Tyler.
We're here.
How are you feeling?
I am feeling...
How was your break?
You know what?
That's great. It's about 9 o'clock now. Here in Norton, it's 45 degrees outside.
Ooh.
It's pretty chilly. Bundle up. Celtics are on.
Celtics are on. Your TV, specifically.
If you're wondering what the score is, the Celtics are winning, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
But we didn't come here to talk about Celtics.
No.
We didn't come here to talk about the weather. We didn't come here to talk about anything like that. We're coming here to talk about something important.
Wait, we're not talking about the weather?
No.
I thought this was a weather podcast.
Well, that's what most people think this is about. But
okay.
What if I told you that instead of weather, there was something even crazier going on in the skies?
Clouds?
Inside of those clouds.
Rain?
No, I mean like hiding in them.
Water?
No, like planes, but... So imagine, alright, so you've got a flying object, right?
I'm in.
Like a plane or a helicopter.
Yeah.
But instead of knowing what it is, you don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
You cannot identify it.
Yes.
You would perhaps call it an unidentified flying object.
Would you?
I don't know, I'm asking you.
Oh, would I call it
Yeah.
that? No, I'd just be like, what's that? And so we call it that.
You know what that is? It's
What?
a UFO, baby.
Oh.
Today's episode is about aliens. And if you tuned in and you don't like to talk about aliens, too late. You can't not listen to us.
Oh, boy.
You and Jimmy Carter reported UFO stuff?
Yeah. We would love to jump straight into our alien things, but we've got some updates here for season 2.
Ooh.
First of all, we are delighted to announce that over the break, Jimmy Carter was elected President of the United States.
Woo!
Go, Jimmy.
Let's go, Jimmy Sprinkles.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter and First Lady Beyonce Knowles. Very glad that they were elected.
Yes.
Much better than that last guy. I hated Gerald R. Ford. He sucked.
I mean,
I'm so glad he's out
who
here.
would ever celebrate him on a
Gerald R.
podcast?
Ford? We are full-fledged Carter supporters. We love Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Good old Jimmy Jim.
He's got some great music.
He went to my christening.
444.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great album.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
about his infidelity. He was very
Right.
open about it.
Yeah, with Beyonce.
Yes. He cheated on his wife with his own wife.
Right. Well, how could you? It's Beyonce.
Of course.
It's like, how would you cheat on Beyonce? Well, if Beyonce wants to, you know. That's the only person I would cheat on Beyonce with is Beyonce. That's all I'll say. Not that I would ever cheat on anyone with anyone, unless it was Beyonce.
Or it was Monopoly.
Or it was Monopoly. I'd cheat all the time with that. Anyways, aliens. Tyler, do you think aliens exist?
100%.
100%?
Yes. I think it is statistically more probable than that there's something else in the universe that we are alone in the universe.
Do you think... Okay, so Do you think aliens have contacted Earth in the past?
I think that they're able to, but they have bigger things in mind.
You think?
Yes.
You think they fly by and someone's like, hey, should we ever go to Earth? And like, no.
I think Earth is like the New Jersey of the
Right,
universe.
like you're driving and someone's like, we could go to New Jersey. And they're like, I guess, but why?
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah.
You'd be like, okay, they have Bon Jovi, but
Right.
like, you know, is it really worth the ride?
For Bon Jovi. Yeah.
Later in the show.
Okay, well, it is. That was a
later in the
bad
show,
point.
we're going to have you guys call in. Is Earth the New Jersey of the galaxy? Your hot takes later on.
Give us.
So, quick poll in the studio. Harrison, aliens?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Will?
Yeah.
Yeah, Will.
Oh.
Will has that look in his eyes like, oh yeah.
He knows it. He doesn't
he's
just say it. He
confident.
knows it. He's not telling us.
I believe in aliens. I don't know
I
if
can do this, so I mean.
I don't know if I believe in like
True.
little green guys coming to Earth, but I'm sure somewhere in the galaxy there's like some weird things that look like slugs that talk to each other.
How do they talk to each other with their
Like,
mouths?
wow, wow.
You know their language.
Hey man, I've done my research.
Oh.
So, but a lot of people in the history of the United States and beyond, but a lot of people in the United States think they've seen UFOs. Some people claim to have been abducted by aliens. Some people think that aliens live among us.
Really?
Yeah.
Like people who would claim to know their language.
No,
Huh?
not those people.
Huh?
Those people those people don't exist. I don't even conceive them. I don't even flog-knock them. I mean, know about them. And that word that we use in human language.
The FBI are outside. Don't tell them.
So I want to sort of go over the biggest, most famousest cases about aliens. 'Cause
Please do.
I assume you don't know anything about them.
I don't even know what they are.
Sure, that's why I'm going to tell you them.
Yeah. First of all, what is a case?
So it's when a bunch of people get together and they're like, I think this thing about this thing. And then a bunch of other people go, I don't know.
It's also Spanish cheese.
Yeah, there's a Spanish cheese, queso.
That's why they call it that, because like
Right.
a lot of
'Cause
people
you're
have to
like,
work
what is
together.
this? And I'm like, queso.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, yeah.
Then you're like, okay, so
I'm on the queso.
yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have any queso in the studio.
Aww.
I have it in my pocket.
But we do have something here from, these are straight from the WCCS archives.
Ooh.
You can't find this anywhere on the internet.
Anywhere.
WCCSpedia, as we would call it.
Yes.
Archive music. Good.
There's a state in the southwest of the United States of America called New Mexico.
Never heard of it.
It's like Mexico, but it's got like FaceTime and stuff. So,
Okay, fair.
in New Mexico, there was like a little small town called Roswell.
Right.
Just a town. Just was there.
Yeah.
It's like Norton. It was.
Yeah.
It was Roswell was the Norton of New Mexico.
She was iCarly.
right.
Miranda Roswell.
No, that's Cosgrove.
Are you, okay, this sounds like an alien conspiracy to me.
Yeah,
so
that
if
you're
you're
already-
trying to
you're
cover
already-
up something,
You're already
you tell
picking
me.
it up, right? So in mid 1947, so I believe it was the summer. There was like a guy just chilling out on his ranch in Roswell. I don't really know.
I'm already terrified.
I don't really know what ranchers do. I think they just sit there.
Don't
And,
they herd cows?
yeah, but how long does that take?
Like, years. That's just
You
years
think
per
every day
cow.
They get up and they go, I gotta go catch up with the cows and bring them back.
Yeah, they're very
Anyways,
stubborn.
he was ranching his cows, and something crashed down near him.
And it wasn't his computer.
And it was not his computer. Those didn't exist yet.
Where's ranch
That we know of.
And he was like, something's fallen in my ranch. And he drove over, and he was like, I don't know what any of this is. It was like a bunch of material, like stuff. Like
Oh my
he
God.
didn't recognize it at all. It was weird metal and plastic stuff that he had never seen before.
Oh my god, I have that in my house.
And he was, well, not plastic, like stuff that looked like plastic, but
Right.
it wasn't. It was weird, unearthly stuff, he said. So
Okay.
he was like, all right, I don't know what to do, so there's an Air Force base nearby. I'm just going to go tell them. Because in Roswell, if something was wrong, it wasn't like you called the cops, you called the Air Force, because
Right.
they lived right there.
Would you call the Air Force for anything that the police would do?
No, but...
Because my
Well, I'm
mom
starting to
once
think.
called the cops when like turkeys were on the highway. Would you like call the Air Force if something like that happened?
Well, because like, if your neighbor was like a Marine,
Mhm.
would you, and there was like a guy who spray painted stuff, would you be like, hey, go get that guy.
Well, no, because the guy's not underwater. Like that, I
That's
consult a
true.
Marine in the Navy. If
My
that was the
grandfather
case.
was a Marine in Vietnam, and he said they had to wear these big scuba tanks. And there was that whole Atlantis debacle. Anyways, this guy, I'm trying to find his name here, William Brazel.
Brazel.
He was just like a guy, and he found like a bunch of crap. Anyway, so he told the Air Force, and he was like, "What is this?" And they sent this guy Jesse Marcel. He was an Air Force major.
Okay.
So it's not like he was like some grunt. He was a really well respected. His role was intelligence officer, which I thought was he walked around and like quizzed people, and he was like, "Hey, what's the capital of Arizona?" And they're like, "I don't know."
Fair. Yeah.
And then if they failed, he arrested them.
If you graduate from NASA, you're automatically deemed an intelligence officer.
Right.
That's how it works.
Apparently, though, a real intelligence officer is like a dude that walks around and like learns things, I guess.
Oh, that's like a lot of us.
His job was just to like go places and find out about stuff. Not like a detective. It was just like literally here,
like a tourist.
Yeah, so they were like, something crashed in a farm in Roswell, and they're like, "Okay, Jesse, go look at it."
Yeah.
And so Jesse went there, and he found metal, and he thought, I've never seen anything here before. I don't know what this is. He
doesn't know what metal is?
No.
He wasn't that intelligent.
It wasn't like aluminum. It was like weird. He said it could like, if you like crumpled it up in a ball and then waited 2 seconds, it would like unfold on its own.
Oh,
and
okay.
it was really light, but you couldn't like puncture it or break it.
Huh.
And they were like, "This is strange. I've never seen this." So he went to the Air Force and he's like, "I don't know what that is." And they're like, "Okay." And they went and they picked it up and they brought it back to the Air Force Base. And the news, because it wasn't like this just happened, like people saw something like crashing in the ground and you're like, "Hey, what was that?"
Right.
So the farmer dude, Bill, he goes to the media and they're like, "What crashed?" And he goes, "I don't know, like a flying saucer or something." And that wasn't when you heard flying saucer in 1947, it wasn't like, "Whoa, aliens." It was like, "Oh, a plate in the sky."
Yeah.
You know, a flying saucer.
Fair.
And so they put out an article and they were like, "Oh, flying saucer found in the ranch." And everyone was like, "Whoa, aliens?" ? And then the next day, the Air Force came out with like a redacted thing, like a big new headline, like, "Whoops, it was actually just a weather balloon that crashed."
A weather balloon.
It was just a balloon monitoring the weather. No biggie. It was just a bunch of regular weather balloon stuff.
Huh.
And everyone was like, "Oh, okay."
I hate you guys so much.
So they were like, "All right, whatever. Weather balloon crashed in Roswell. Doesn't really matter." But then in like 1970, like 30 years later, some random guy was interviewing Jesse Marcel, like, "So, how was the Air Force?" And Jesse Marcel goes, "I never told anyone, but in 1947, I saw aliens and they made me lie about it."
What?
Dun dun dun. Tune in for the rest of the story. Hi,
Hi.
I'm Radio Ryan. That's Radio Tyler.
I'm Radio
This
Tyler.
is Radio Ryan, a podcast on WCCS.TK. WCCS 96.5 FM Wheaton College Radio. We're live. We're back. We're talking about aliens.
We are talking about aliens.
Roswell, New Mexico.
I thought it was much better than the first one.
What first one?
We were talking about aliens.
What?
I don't think... Okay, so, like, I like James Cameron, but, like, I understand why people like the first one better.
Oh, you mean the movie.
Sure.
Jimmy Cameron.
Right. Anyways, shout out Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy
And
and
let's
Jimmy
dive-
Cameron.
Let's dive back into the story.
Okay.
Jimmy Carrey.
So we're here in Roswell, and it seems a weather balloon has crashed, and some people made a fuss about it.
Mhm.
But in 1977, this guy, Jesse Marcel, intelligence officer who was on the scene, said, "I saw aliens I was lied to, or I was forced to lie." So Marcel claims in a radio interview that when I went there was all this strange metal that I didn't understand. It was clearly never from Earth. I'm an Air Force intelligence officer. I know what's in a plane. I know what isn't. This was a UFO. And he claimed to have seen little bodies at the scene.
Little
Tiny
bodies?
little dead bodies of aliens.
What do the bodies look like?
Like 4 feet tall, and they were gray. And I'll show you a picture.
Show me a picture.
And I want you to describe
Gladly.
describe it to our listeners.
Don't show me a picture of my mother and expect me to say that it's an alien.
I wasn't gonna do that.
Okay.
Has that happened to you before?
Yes, at least 4 times.
So that's what they supposedly look like.
Is that like a model that was made of his description?
Okay, so that's kind of creepy, right?
Yeah, okay. So, for anyone who's listening, picture the actor Steve Buscemi.
Uh-huh.
That's it. It's just Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, so it looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
A little bitty Steve.
But, okay, so that particular picture I showed you is from, like, a 90s... This guy, a different guy, claimed to have, like, footage of an autopsy of an alien, and he put that... It was, like, a short film out in black and white. It's really freaky.
Really?
But then it came out that it was a hoax. And he said, well, I made up the film, but it was a reconstruction of real events.
Huh. Okay.
And so... basically they start to do this research into it, and Marcel starts this thing that there is a massive cover-up, right, and that there was aliens in there, and they got them, and they moved them to Area 51, and blah blah blah, and they told me to lie about it and say it was a weather balloon. And so they asked Bill, the dude that found it,
Yep.
and he didn't live in New Mexico anymore. Apparently,
Where does he live now?
So the day after. So the first day he came out, he said, "Oh, it's a flying saucer," and then the next day he was like, "Oh, I saw the wrong thing. It was just a weather balloon. Government told me it was a weather balloon." The day after that, he had a new truck and moved to California,
Really?
which is interesting.
Who would ever move to California?
That's not what.
That's very
Like,
suspicious.
he suddenly came into possession of a brand new truck and was able to start a business in California. Sounds like he got paid a lot of money to change his statement.
What? Okay, I have a question. If they were so if the federal government was trying to get him to stop talking and go somewhere, why only move him 2 states over? Like, why not ship him to like Maine?
I don't think
It was the 70s. It was the 40s.
I don't think they said go to California.
They were just
I think
like,
they gave him a bunch of money and said screw off.
I don't think he followed their instructions then.
Yeah, they were probably like, oh, he'll go to Boston or
Yeah.
Miami, and he just went over to San Diego. But
Town over.
yeah, so that happened, and then so people are asking the government, are you hiding stuff from us? Is there a cover-up? And they said there is a cover-up, but it's also a weather balloon.
Why would
still? So here's what they said. They said, well, in the 50s, we were trying to spy on the Soviets by using weather balloons with so I don't know if you know this, but in the 40s and 50s, when Cold War was really heating up, but still cold.
Yeah, it was freezing.
To find out like where submarines were and if they were testing stuff underwater, they had microphones underwater that could, because if you put a microphone underwater, you could pick up sound from like really, really far
You could
away.
hear like glurk, glurk, glurk.
Yeah, it was like.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's Russian.
That is all the intel.
Right.
Yeah.
So they thought, let's just do that, but in the sky. And so they attached microphones to weather balloons and like floated them over Russia
That
to
sounds
try
about
and
right.
hear them testing nukes. That's what they said. And they said, well, that's what we tried to do in the 50s. And so it crashed. There was a bunch of material there. We tried to cover it up, say, oh, no, we're not spying on Russia. And it was blah, blah, blah. And everyone was like, oh, okay. But wait a minute. You started doing this in the 50s. Roswell was in 1947.
Right.
And that's what they said. And then the government's official response was, sometimes when people have 2 stories and it's been a long time, they misremember things.
Like misremembering their own story.
The government's official statement was, people think that Roswell happened in 1947, but they were thinking about something that happened in the 50s.
They're telling people that it didn't happen
They're
in
telling people
1947?
that they remembered things wrong. When there is newspapers from 1947 saying, oh, there's a thing in Roswell and we don't know what it is.
I gotta say, the government's pretty bad at
That's
lying.
the government's statement.
Wow.
So that's kind of what happens in Roswell. It's been, this says officially that it was a weather balloon, and that, it's crashed. But like numerous people, including Jesse Marcel, have said that's not what I saw. I don't know if what I saw was aliens, but it wasn't a weather balloon. What do you think, Tyler?
I don't know. Okay, so I'm not sure, to be honest. That is sketchy, but on the other hand...
if the government had just been like, yeah, it's a weather balloon and stopped, I would have been like, okay, it probably is.
Yeah.
But they have such a bad cover story
Yeah.
that I'm like, I don't buy it now.
I also find it a little hilarious that if that was a case of inter-civilization interaction between aliens and us, that their interaction was just them crashing into the desert and dying.
I don't like that idea that are only...
That's such an Earth thing to do. They're not allowed to mess up like we are.
And then we're like, what is this?
Yeah, no, we have to be the idiots. We're supposed to be the smart ones.
So that's Roswell. I'm going to poll the studio. Harrison, what do you think?
I mean,
He said, you know.
So he believes in aliens.
I think
100%.
hardcore. Will, what do you think?
I don't think it's aliens. Probably was some like spying stuff.
I don't think it was.
But that's the
aliens,
cover
but-
they used, and it didn't add
It
up.
was a microphone on a balloon.
Yeah, I think the government lied, but this feels not aliens.
So you don't think it's aliens?
I don't think it's aliens.
I don't think it's not aliens, but I'm not sure that it is
rule it
aliens.
out, but I don't think that the government. I don't buy that this guy just saw aliens and then could easily say, yeah, it was a weather balloon. If I saw aliens and they were like, say it's a weather balloon, I'd be like, I physically can't.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine like watching like a murder happen and then later be like, say that guy fell down the stairs. You'd be like, yeah, he fell down the stairs on a knife. Like, it's hard to do.
To be fair, like the CIA would do a lot of stuff like that.
Right.
So it's not like unprecedented for
My
them
thing
to...
is that I definitely think something's going on there.
Yeah.
And the government just really didn't want people to look at it. So they were like, here, we'll confess to a thing.
Yeah.
But why would you ever cover up microphones in the desert?
What I think it was also is that normally the government might be really good at lying to the point where we don't know where they're lying.
Right.
But I think that day they got like some intern, like Dave or something, to cover for them.
Like the normal guy that covers things up for the CIA was out.
He was sick. Yeah.
And like just have Dave cover it up. And Dave's like, it was a microphone balloon.
Yeah.
And
this is why we never use you, Dave.
Come on, Dave.
Thanks a lot. We look like idiots now.
First JFK. Not this. So that's Roswell.
Yeah.
We're gonna take your calls later in the show, and you can tell us what.
Then
you
we're gonna
think
talk about how
Roswell.
JFK was actually killed by a weather balloon.
We're gonna have another short, quick music break.
Yes.
But for our next theory, I really like because it's not at all about aliens, but some people just threw aliens in there.
Ooh.
Which I think is like I'm gonna present the whole case, and at the end I'm just gonna hit you with aliens.
I love getting hit with
it
aliens.
does-
Ancient aliens type.
Yeah, like ancient aliens. There's no evidence. It's just people going, "What if?"
Oh,
And
we're
then
on our
people
History
go
Channel
like,
thing.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
Ancient aliens, we were just like Lincoln aliens, yeah.
Yeah. Ancient aliens is just that one guy going, if aliens came, it would be crazy. And everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong.
No, it would be crazy, but they don't have anything on that show.
They do have history
On a channel.
on the Discovery Network.
We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Aliens.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Radio Ryan. This is Radio Ryan. We're here on WCCS 96.5 FM, Wheaton College Radio, and live on WCCS.tk, reminding you that cocaine is really bad.
Don't
Don't do it.
do it.
Don't do cocaine. There's no joke there. There's no funny business.
Cocaine, more like more pain.
Right. Don't do cocaine.
Cocaine, more like propane.
That's all I'm gonna say. But
I don't know what that means.
here's our next theory. So, have you ever ridden in a plane before, Tyler?
Define ridden.
Like been in the seat while the plane took off?
I was like inside of one, but I've never like sat in a seat while it took off.
So no.
No, I have.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in a plane.
You've been okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was a famous plane rider.
Wikipedia.
No, with WCCSpedia.
Yeah,
It's
of
our
course.
secret archive. Amelia Earhart. Earhart. That's what I said.
Right.
Earhart. She was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic.
Yes.
First woman to do a lot of things involving planes.
Yes. First woman
Great.
president.
Nope.
Oh, really?
Great accomplishments, but also I don't know if that was like a huge field. Like there was another girl named like Jessie Stewart.
Who just
and
got like
she was flying.
overshadowed.
She's like, dang it, I was right there.
With a second
Her plane is
high
always right
distance.
behind her.
Yeah.
Anyways, you probably know Amelia Earhart mostly because she disappeared.
She disappeared.
Yeah. That you don't know about that?
I saw her like last week.
No shit.
Where'd she go?
In like 1937,
Time is relative.
she disappeared.
She's dating Ben Stiller.
So
Oh, is she? Okay, I'm happy for him. And after that divorce, I wasn't sure what he was going to do, but I'm happy for him.
So Amelia Earhart was supposed to fly around the world. She was going from California to California. She was gonna like hit every major like continent city.
I'm sorry, I just realized that was a Night at the Museum 2 reference, and I
Yeah.
didn't pick that up.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
can't hear it, so you may as well.
Yeah, no, we made a very obvious. Harrison made a very obvious Night at the Museum 2 joke, and
I ran with it, but
Tyler
I
did
didn't
not pick
realize
up on
it.
But he ran with it.
He did ran with it, which was good.
Didn't fly with it 'cause she can.
So she was going from California. She was going down like Mexico City, and then like down around Southern America or South America.
Yep.
And she would have like stops every once in a while because you can't do one trip. And then she went to like Africa and then Europe and Indonesia and everything.
Yep.
She was around Japan, Indonesia, that area, and a bunch of islands. She was basically going to go fly, make it to one island called Howland Island. And she was going to stop there, she was going to refuel, and then she was going to go to Japan, and then to, well, it was World War II, she was going to go over Japan. And then she was going to go to Hawaii and be back.
Right.
But she disappeared going to Howland Island. She was coming from Lae, L-A-E, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she was supposed to, I'm showing you the map here.
Okay.
So that's Honolulu.
Yes.
So she was supposed to go from Lae to Howland Island to refuel, and then from Howland Island to Honolulu.
And so the blue part is the ocean.
That's the ocean.
Okay.
And she disappeared somewhere between Lae and Howland Island. So she just straight up vanished, which to me is the most interesting true crime things, is when people just
True
disappear.
crime.
Well, true.
Could be a crime, you don't know.
Yeah, true thing.
Can't refute it.
My favorite police investigated subject is when people just up and vanish. And
Yeah.
you're like, what? Because it's like, how do you even do that?
Yeah.
So she's gone. She was in a plane with her navigator, Fred.
Right.
Who I feel like...
What's his name actually, Fred?
His name was Fred.
Okay.
Fred Noonan. Which, obviously, Amelia Earhart was, like, more significant, and people are really sad she disappeared, and I'm all for that. But I also think no one talks about the fact that Fred disappeared, too.
Yeah,
He's probably
come on,
got, like, the wife
guys.
and kids. His
Ugh.
family that's like, where's Fred? I don't know. So, Fred, Amelia, in their airport, there was, like, a U.S. ship near Howland Island.
Their airport?
No?
No, I'm sorry, you said in their airport.
In their airplane. There was like a boat near Howland Island. It was like the USS whatever. And they were. Amelia Earhart was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna reach you in like 5 minutes. I'll pass over you. I'll land in Howland Island field." And they're like, "Okay, cool." And she's like, "It's kind of hard to see. There's a lot of wind." And they're like, "Okay, but with the coordinates you're giving, you're right near us." And she's like, "Yeah." So they went outside and like looked up in binoculars and couldn't see her. And like, "Amelia, where are you?" And then she didn't answer. And then she was never heard from again. And didn't see her. But she was close enough where they thought they could see her from the boat.
Oh.
But she's gone. So there's the first theory is the crash and sink theory.
Crash and sink.
Yeah. So that's the theory that she crashed and then her plane sunk into the ocean.
Okay, with her dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
Okay,
They're
so she's not still alive in this scenario.
They're super dead.
Okay.
And their plane's gone, and we can't find them because the ocean's hella big.
What would have caused her to crash?
There was a lot of wind. She was running low on fuel because she was supposed to land, and she had enough fuel to land on the island, though, so it's unclear what caused her to crash. Maybe it's just a goose. Well, you know, geese.
I would love this entire...
Geese fly into plane engines, and then the plane explodes. That's what happens.
Yeah, but wouldn't they have seen an explosion in the sky?
That's true.
Yeah, they wouldn't have seen a geese, though.
That's true. They wouldn't have seen the goose.
Goose.
My new theory is that the goose was sent from Germany because it was World War II, and they're like, get that air out of the sky.
It was like the evil version of a carrier
Yeah, it was
pigeon.
1939.
Really?
Yeah.
That's World War II-ish.
Yeah, that's like almost World War II.
Yeah.
So the second theory, which
quite the Pacific Theater yet.
is an interesting theory. So there's an island nearby Howland Island called Gardner Island.
Gardner Island, that's inviting.
And the theory, it's called Nikumaroro now.
Nikumaroro.
Yeah, because it's like native controlled now, but
okay.
by like the native people of the island area. Nobody lives there, but like...
Well, they live there.
No, like nobody lives on that island.
Oh, not anymore. It's like deserted now.
No one ever did.
Oh,
it's just there.
How is it native controlled then?
Because like the surrounding, like the people of Lae.
Oh,
it used to be U.S. controlled, called Gardner Island, but then when they got it back, they called it Nkumaroro.
Gotcha.
But this was known as Gardner Island.
Okay.
And so people are thinking, well, if she couldn't find Howland Island because of wind and it was hard to see, she could have landed on Gardner Island and refueled. There's a theory that she crashed on Gardner Island, and then that's where they died. And partial skeletal remains were found on Gardner Island, and they were belonging to like a European man. And they're like, oh, it could be Fred, even though he's American. But they're like, oh, maybe. Some doctor in the 50s tested the bones, said, nope, these aren't Amelia and Fred Noonan, and then threw the bones out.
Threw the bones out?
Destroyed the bones.
Oh my god.
And we don't have them anymore. Because in the 50s, if you were done with something, you were like, whatever. And then
throw out the bones.
And then scientists in the 90s were like, yeah, that totally could have been Amelia Earhart. I wish we had those to test them, but they don't exist anymore.
Damn, they gotta check the trash cans.
I don't understand why you would take evidence and be like, well, this clearly isn't anything, and then throw it in a furnace.
I would hate to be the one guy who works at the garbage dump who just finds human bones in a trash can.
We can't have Amelia Earhart's bones lying around.
No. I mean,
he threw them away, which baffles me. So,
I just love the visual of him being like, nope, these are done, and then just like hits the foot thing on the trash can.
It's not, he threw them out, but it's not like they're in a dumpster somewhere. He burned them.
He burned them.
Because that's how you get rid of bones. You just turn them. So
that's how you get rid of bones?
That's how you get rid of bones.
Okay, I didn't know how to get rid of bones.
You throw them in the fire.
Now I know how to get rid of bones.
It's got to be really hot fire, though. So people are like, okay, maybe they crashed. Which is like cool, I guess, but it's the same result.
Yeah.
That's like saying like, oh yeah, you didn't crash your car, you just lost control and it rammed into the thing. Like, well, it still crashed.
Well, yeah, she's not like a kamikaze pilot. She obviously lost control.
Well, the theory is either she crashed in the ocean and died, or crashed on the island and lived for a couple days and then died of heart.
Or she just crashed on impact when hitting the island.
Yeah. So. Either way, she's dead.
Did they find a plane, though?
They didn't find a plane.
So do we know she's dead?
We are pretty sure she's dead because she was born in 1890 whatever. So
there are some pretty old people, though.
She could be 120. She could be one of the oldest living people on Earth.
If Ruth Bader Ginsburg is still alive, I want to see what Amelia Earhart can't be.
So there's another theory.
The 40-year difference.
That they said, okay, that Amelia Earhart was actually a spy. And that the government said, okay, Amelia Earhart, when you're going around the world, when you get near Japan's territory, intentionally crash near one of their islands and get rescued or captured by the Japanese. And then we can send planes to Japan just saying, oh, we're looking for Amelia Earhart, but really we'll be spying on the Japanese.
Why would Amelia Earhart spy for the Japanese?
Spy for America.
Oh, spy for America on the Japanese.
On the Japanese, yeah. They're like, when you go to Japan, like either fake crash or like safely crash in Japanese territory, so that we have an insider there and we can send planes to go get you while also spying on the Japanese.
So she may have survived and assimilated into Japan for spy stuff, is what you're implying?
Well, it was like the theory says that the government was like, hey, just go there and then we'll get you a few days later. But because America did send planes over Japan, being like, hey, is Amelia Earhart over here? But Japan was like, no.
I hope they had a giant microphone. Hey, is Amelia Earhart over here?
There is a village on a beach in like Japanese-controlled territory that almost all of their people say like, oh yeah, my grandma saw a plane crash over there and this woman and this man got out and then they were captured by the Japanese army. They're like, huh, that kind of sounds like Amelia Earhart, but there's no evidence.
It was somebody else.
And there was a radio operator in the Japanese area for Americans during World War II named Tokyo Rose. Nobody knew who she was. Some people think Amelia Earhart was Tokyo Rose. Some people think that she was in the Japanese, like she was captured by the Japanese, and then after the war was over, she was released, and then Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan returned to the U.S. and lived out their lives under fake names, but I have no idea why they would do that.
Wasn't Amelia Earhart a pretty recognizable person?
She was super recognizable.
Yeah.
So the people that had that theory published a book and said, oh, Amelia Earhart's alive. She's in the United States living under this Irene whatever name.
Irene.
And Irene, the lady who they said was Amelia Earhart, sued them saying, I'm not Amelia Earhart.
That's exactly what Amelia Earhart would do.
Right. But people say they don't look alike at all, and they're like, why would you...
And those people are Amelia Earhart.
There's another theory that they were executed by the Japanese.
Oh.
Which sucks, but I mean, again, cooler theory, still dead.
I mean, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of these end with them being dead.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, they're all going to end with her being dead in some capacity. But
I mean,
there's a photo here
of
so
Amelia Earhart.
No, so this photo, all right? I'm showing it to you.
Okay.
It just looks like a photo, right?
It does. It has 4 sides.
Right.
It's
So
yeah.
I'll describe it because Tyler's been doing a terrible job. It's like some boats and some people on a dock, but they're far away in the picture. So people found this picture and theorized, and I'm going to try and open it for you. They said, this is definitive proof that Amelia Earhart is in Japanese captivity. Because, I'm going to zoom in for you.
Okay.
Do you see where my mouse cursor is?
Yeah, that looks like the guy.
They say that's Amelia Earhart from behind.
How would they know
Chilling
that's
out
her
on
from
a dock.
behind?
Everyone in the studio is coming over to look at the picture. Everyone's like, that lady sitting on the floor.
What basis do they have to think that's Amelia Earhart from behind?
The back of her head kind of looks like Amelia Earhart's.
Also, if you're getting captured by the Japanese, you think they're just going to let you sit on a dock like you're
So
Otis
that
Redding?
was
I
big
think
for
not.
a minute, and then some guys in Missouri found a photo book from Japan in 1935, 4 years before she went missing, and the photo was in there.
Oh.
So they're like, I don't think that's Amelia Earhart.
Or she
Unless
played
she's
the
a
long
time
game.
traveler. Right.
Yeah.
So the final theory is she got kidnapped by aliens. Boom.
What?
Slipped aliens right into this show about aliens.
So naturally.
You were wondering where the aliens would come in. They just
forgot
came
about
in.
them.
We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to tell you why definitively Amelia Earhart got captured by aliens.
Oh boy. Okay.
Tune in.
What's going on?
It's Radio Ryan. I'm Radio Ryan, here with Radio Tyler.
I'm Radio Tyler.
On WCCS 96.5 FM, Wheaton College Radio, live on WCCS.TK. We're talking about aliens. Amelia Earhart, who we've been going over, may have been abducted by aliens, say some people.
Says us.
Some people assume that Amelia Earhart was flying through the sky, and the reason no one can find her is because aliens showed up and plopped her out of the sky.
So the thing...
That's it, by the way.
I kind of love the idea of aliens being that much of a jerk. They'd just be like, hey, who are we going to interact with this time? How about that random
I think
plane?
they were probably like really impressed, and they're like, she's great. We need better pilots in the alien air force. And they just drafted her.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that makes sense.
She's Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she is Captain
my God.
Marvel. You've heard it here first. All right,
Brie Larson knows the answer.
Starting now until towards the end, we're going to sub out Radio Tyler.
I will take the sub.
Bye, Radio Tyler. We're going to bring in
Bye-bye,
our
America.
resident analyst, Radio Will, noted UFOologist and alien beliefer. Woo! And he's going to talk to us about some of his personal favorite radio stories. And while he's doing this, I want you guys to react. I want you guys to have hot takes. I want you to think about what you've heard and what you're going to be hearing. And I want you to call in. Hey, Radio Ryan and me and Radio Will will answer your questions. The number is 508-286-5641. That's 508-286-5641. Call in at your convenience. We'll put you on.
How creepy is that?
So I'll start with Radio Will here.
Radio Will here.
So you believe in the aliens?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you think they've visited Earth before?
What is this?
Maybe.
Maybe?
maybe.
Is that like a is that like a certain maybe or like a I don't know?
It's a pretty solid maybe.
Yeah. What do you think is your most convincing
sounds like
alien story?
Has a gang group
No, he hung up after that.
As much as I love those videos of people in like their backyards and like, what's
and,
that?
and they
place?"
Photoshop a UFO and then turn the
Yeah.
opacity down.
As much as I love those, the most notable one, which I don't hear people talk about enough, is when the Department of Defense just declassified 2 videos.
Right, those
of,
videos,
of
and
the
they're
Navy
like,
interacting with UFOs, and we're like, oh, I don't know what this
yeah,
is.
the government put them out, and they're like, we don't know what this is, and it's like,
It's probably aliens.
Probably aliens.
It's probably aliens. You know, it's like egg-shaped thing. Navy pilots.
I do think that aliens wouldn't like come down and be like, we are your leader, because they don't think they have similar concepts of language. It probably would be a bunch of lights, and we'd be like, whoa, what's that? And that's them being like, hey, you up? And then we don't know how to
New phone, who dis?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
What's the second and first kind?
My parents aren't home.
Yeah. It's the alien saying, come to Mars, nobody's home, and we can't get there.
They found water on Mars.
That's true. They found ice, right?
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice was on Mars.
Yeah,
Yes.
there was ice on Mars. That's what we're talking about.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, that's why we haven't seen him since
Vanilla
then.
ice.
He went
was
back to his
sitting
home
up there
planet.
alone.
Yeah.
He was crafting the heavens.
Yeah. So you were talking to us about some audio that's really freaky that we're not gonna play because I'm a little baby boy and I don't want to hear it.
It's,
But it's a convincing audio apparently.
Well,
It's
that's
scary.
one of the scariest things I've ever listened to because
Me too.
it sounds very authentic, and the problem is if it's authentic, it essentially like warps my entire concept of reality. So
Interesting.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna believe it.
even if the Area 51 caller comes up,
Yeah.
really
I'm looking up Reddit.com.
it was
Was the Art Bell Area 51 frantic caller
That's
real
it.
or a hoax?
It's never been confirmed what it is. I
yeah,
think.
no one really knows. The one thing we do know is it got cut off because they got knocked off air, and that had never happened to them before, which
Yeah,
is pretty
that's
interesting.
interesting.
It's like, maybe it isn't real, but someone really didn't want people to listen to
Yeah,
it.
it's really weird that it got cut off, and it was probably, like
Get cut off. Like
if
yeah,
it
I'm
was
talking about.
cut off right then, like that to me is kind of spookier than there being aliens.
That's why I was
is
saying
that
it
it gets
scares
cut
me.
off. Like
Yeah.
it's either they're like, oh, we don't want to hear about this, or the universe just wants to fuck with us. I mean, screw with us, which is like.
Apologize.
I am apologizing for the harsh
Radio
language.
Harry wants to go on the record as
our
saying
our student technician
hates
Radio
us.
Harry would like to go on technician, so he hates us for our very loose censorship.
UFO, more like FCC.
Yeah,
Say Ryan.
yeah. I Radio Ryan apologize for my gross language. I will never say words like universe again.
I'm sorry, women.
That was terrible.
should be ashamed.
But if you'd like to call in and swear at me, you sure can.
We're taking
Um,
calls.
That's
Yeah.
how that works.
508-286-5641. Call in if you like or
We're talking
don't.
about weird green
Talking
boys
about
and
weird aliens.
UFOs.
Let us know if you've seen an alien.
What's your favorite movie about aliens?
My favorite one.
I think most of us can agree that like Arrival is probably the most realistic, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it's like the
I haven't
coolest.
seen it. Though, which
It's
is my
it's
problem.
Arrival's amazing.
It's the most realistic because the aliens aren't cool. They're like squids.
Yeah, but I feel like it's
That's
realistic.
probably right. Yeah,
It's pretty realistic.
I would assume them to be more animal-like.
I like the hearing
They'd
about
think
how
we were animals,
linguistic like
Right.
professors were all like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
the most realistic
Right.
rendition of an interaction between two
Species.
Right.
species we've ever seen. It's pretty cool.
And they see time in a non-linear fashion,
yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah.
I never thought about
I don't really
that.
get.
Yeah.
I don't get that either because like I get that whole thing of like humans invented time, but like it still exists. Like a day is gonna pass whether you believe
It
it
exists
or
to
not.
Well, it's the very concept that we think a day is a day.
Right,
and
yeah.
it's-
I guess we invented like time, but like the Earth revolving.
We invented ways to describe it.
right, and suns
Yeah.
rising and setting.
Like a
whatever.
day here is like a year
Yeah,
on
I
other
think the
planets.
classic
so.
Alien. That's a pretty solid.
Alien's
pick.
is a great movie.
Is a great
Mhm.
movie.
Alien's cool because it's like it works even though like it works now because they don't show you the alien a lot. It's just creepy because
Yeah.
as soon as you see the alien, you're like, oh, it's 1977.
Hmm.
That's why Jurassic Park I don't like because it's like it's too reliant on like look at the dinosaur. And I'm like, it's a dinosaur.
Wait, what's in the audio specifically?
The guy.
What is in the audio? Radio Harry asks.
God.
Specifically.
I'm
well,
spooked. I want to listen to it, but I don't want to.
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
I'm
really
getting less
spooky.
spooky if he describes it.
I'm getting very jittery just like thinking of it, but it's
I just
essentially
remembered it
a
when you
very
brought it up
nervous
and I got
gentleman calls
scared.
into Art Bell Radio, and he just talks about how he worked at Area 51 and the stuff he saw and what happened, and and aliens and stuff, obviously, because
So he says
it's Area
aliens are there?
51.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't think he goes out of.
it gets really crazy. But the spooky part is then like
this. I don't know.
straight up the satellite had to move in order for them to be knocked off air. So it's really freaky.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty interesting.
I'm not gonna sleep tonight because I had to remember that existed. Will.
But does he
Radio
say?
Tyler is having nightmares now.
Does he say there are aliens?
Yes, he explicitly says that there are aliens, but they're not what we consider aliens to be in popular culture. I don't want to spoil it because honestly,
Yeah,
it's
I'm not
don't.
going to listen to it ever, probably.
I want to play it for you
We're gonna
guys.
listen to it
No,
right
I'll
after the
break
show.
your
That's-
phone.
Jesus Christ, I'm already. Yeah.
I want to
Well,
play it for Ryan.
If anyone's, I don't want to hear
We
it.
get knocked off.
If anyone's interested, Art Bell's dead. So.
Yeah. Sadly.
Well, he was 72, so it wasn't like he got murdered. Or maybe, I don't know.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
It doesn't matter what
Showed up
age
with
you are, you
bullet
can
holes
be
in his head. It
murdered.
was suicide.
Yeah. That's another thing. If we ever do another true crime one, there's a lot of cases that I want to go over because, listen, this show is these episodes are just rip-offs of BuzzFeed Unsolved. But like, I need people to know about it because there's a case where a guy gets shot in the back of the head. I'm like, yeah, suicide.
It's like you could be like
What's,
this.
It's like, who would do that?
Who played Saruman in Lord of the Rings?
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. He knew. He instructed Peter Jackson.
Yeah, on how to get stabbed in the back.
What that sounds like when you
Yeah.
get stabbed.
You don't
in the
go,
back.
you just go,
Because he worked in the SAS. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, no, this is what happens when I stab people in the back. And Peter Jackson's like, oh, cool.
Yeah. There's a whole world out there.
Yeah. That's another thing, like, when we did the JFK episode, and I was like, I think the CIA killed JFK. But that's like saying, I think the boogeyman killed JFK. Because what are you going to do? Hey, CIA, what did you do? Like, I feel like people don't talk about, America has spies, dude. Which, by the way, if I get murdered tomorrow, you guys know who did it. But either
Right.
CIA or
Somewhere
aliens.
we are.
No,
on
it was
the list.
Harrison because you
Yeah.
swore in
That's
air.
one of Radio Will's favorite stories. I'm now referring to myself in the third person
Right.
as Radio Will.
What story?
I went on a school field trip to Washington D.C.
Mhm.
and we got the chance to go to the Pentagon.
Oh.
So they get the list back of like, okay, everyone's like clear and
Right.
it has all the names on it in alphabetical order, except for my name. It's on the
Whoa.
bottom of the list.
Oh.
So I think I'm on a list somewhere.
Yeah.
Were
We're
you
looking
weren't
up all
cleared?
this weird conspiracy theory stuff.
You weren't cleared to go in?
I was cleared,
Oh, okay.
but the whole list was alphabetical and I was the only one that wasn't.
We I won't repeat any of what we said because I'm afraid it will happen to Wheaton. But when a couple of years ago, me and my friends were on Discord, which for those of you who don't know, it's like Skype without the video. It's
Pretty
just like
much.
group voice chat.
Yeah.
And we were like thinking about like how many NSA agents are assigned to how many groups of people. And like in Attleboro, and then there's these like NSA trigger words where if you like say stuff, apparently NSA like tunes in because they're like, if their idea is that they're always listening, like The Simpsons showed it. Like we looked up NSA trigger words and just said a bunch of them, and so the hope is that we have a guy who's assigned to where we're from, and that he always thinks there's an attack, but then he listens, he's like it's those kids again, and that we're just screwing that guy over.
Poor guy.
So I won't repeat any of the trigger words because I don't want the NSA.
Like you said about the guy who just like called in where he thought Osama bin Laden was.
Yeah, that's a I think it's a Gary Goldman joke. It's he would call in every day and try and guess where Osama bin Laden was because the reward for finding him was like $40 million. So he'd be like, I think he's in a cave in Iraq at these coordinates, and they'd be like, go home.
You're drunk, Phil. Go home.
But if he's right,
Maybe do we know if he got it right?
he
at
never
any
got
point?
it right.
Ah,
But they found Osama bin Laden without him.
Google Maps.
I'm sure he helped.
More interesting.
Yeah.
They use Google Maps.
Which I mean, it's not like Osama bin Laden's in Cleveland and he's just walking down the street and they're like, hey, and he's like, ah, and he runs away.
Hide in
Like,
plain sight.
He was in a cave, you know, or he wasn't in a cave.
He was in a compound.
He was in a compound. Which is
Yeah.
weird to me that he was just like in a house.
Yeah.
Like if
He
you're
was.
watching, that's what's kind of freaky is in my neighborhood, I've got like, oh wait, this is actually connected. In my neighborhood, I live in like, I'm not poor, but it's like middle class, you know, just normal houses in my neighborhood and it's like suburban stuff. And on my street, there was like a whole stretch of woods, and there's like a mansion, like right on the side of the road, like in that little stretch that used to have nothing. And then as a kid, when that was built, it was around the time that Osama bin Laden was captured and killed. And so I saw his face on the news, and I knew they're building a new mansion. And for like a year, I thought Osama bin Laden lived near us. But that's what's freaky is I have no idea who lives in that mansion and why it's there.
Oh.
I heard it was like a baseball player or something, but like,
Wow.
I don't know.
I guess,
One day I'd like to go because they have like a whole gate and everything, and it's a huge house. Like it looks like a plantation house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd just like to go there and just be like, hey, who are you guys?
pop in.
I live over there. What's going on?
Well, if Get Out has taught me anything, you should be very
Right.
careful.
Well, if Get Out has taught me anything,
You're fine.
It's
Yeah,
taught
I'm
me to
fine.
get out.
I remember I was on a vacation with my best friend, Colin Jones, who might be listening. If you're listening, hi. He's from Pennsylvania, and his family has like a hunting membership, and they have like a hunting lodge, and we could like rent it for like a week in the summer, so we're all chilling there. And we watched Get Out, and it was kind of scary because it was like a horror movie, and we were like on a mountaintop, and there's like no service, and it's like, whoa. But Colin was really scared of Get Out, and I was like, you realize Get Out, like, that's not about you. Like, you're the villain in Get Out. You're not going to get hurt. It's not like the guys from Get Out are going to come and be like, ooh, I need this teenager's body. That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Fantastic. Us by Jordan Peele coming out. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Woo!
That looks
The trailer looks great.
I heard that was about a thing that it isn't. I heard it was about twins
It's
that are
about
like psychic, but it's...
going from the trailer. It's got more weird conspiracy
Yeah.
stuff like Get Out. So spoilers for Get Out. It's got weird conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like a family. They go on vacation and everything's nice.
Right, and there's like different
they,
versions
they,
of them or
they
whatever.
duplicate.
That's what one of the scariest movie concepts. I don't watch scary movies, hate scary movies. I'm a little baby boy, as I've been over. But one of the scariest movies to me, I think it was like The Strangers or something. It's just people breaking into somebody's house and killing them.
That movie's freaky.
And they're like, "Who are you?" And they're like, "Oh, we're just these guys." And they're like, "Why are you doing this?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like that's freaky to me. Just people just doing
That's
that.
like when the whole movie concept is like, can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Your house isn't really as safe as you think it is. It's just walls.
Luckily, we live on a dorm where nothing bad's ever happened.
Nothing
at
bad
Wheaton.
happens
No.
at Wheaton College.
Not like there's an arsonist
Yeah.
here.
What does that word
Yeah,
mean? I don't
just
understand that
on an
word.
unrelated PSA, please be safe on Wheaton and handle fire safely.
Yes, fire safety is very important.
Bro, this whole episode is going great. I'm gonna have to go home and like watch videos of puppies because I can't get out the idea of I don't even know what it sounds like, and I'm really scared of that Area 51 thing.
You're gonna
You don't
eventually
have to.
watch it at Curiosity.
I know I'm eventually gonna watch it, and I'm gonna watch it at night, and I'm gonna hate it.
No, we'll watch it right after this.
I literally won't.
In
I'll
numbers,
walk
there's-
away.
We need to watch it at noon, so we have a few hours.
Yeah, we have to watch it at noon
When the
with
sun
a
rises.
bunch of other people.
Watch about eating a sandwich.
We're crazy, guys. That's nuts.
That's freaky. So yeah, that's Aliens. I realized we got a little off track there
Cool.
towards the end.
Well, aliens
Yeah.
kind of just leave
But,
conspiracy
No
theories.
callers, sadly.
No callers, it's okay. You can always call in a different night. This has been Radio Ryan. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of season 2.
Wait, go for 5 more seconds.
Radio Will, it's been wonderful to have you.
Always good to be here.
Radio Tyler, wonderful to have you too.
Thank you.
And studio technician Radio Harrison, thanks for keeping it clean in here, even though we didn't for a little bit.
Bust the mop out
And
of
hopefully you'll be able to find this episode if you missed it or want to show it to a friend on SoundCloud, because we have that set up and we've recorded it and it might work. So
Woo! I recorded.
We'll try and advertise that a bit more in the next episode. But as it stands, I'm Radio Ryan. This has been Radio Ryan. We're a podcast. Go Jimmy Carter. Have a good night. I love you.
Sorry enough then.
Just my voice memos. That's what I use to record everything.
I think you can end it now.
I can end it now?
Yeah.
I can end it now, Harrison? Okay, got it. So you want me to end it now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll end it right now.
Wait, so did that just pick up?